Welcome back, Motorheads. This is Wagon Wednesday Finds on Facebook Marketplace. Up first, got a 1954 Buick for $36,500. Well, we got us a great looking old Buick wagon here. You don't come across these all too often. You'll find a lot of Chevrolets and a few Pontiacs and some Oldsmobiles, but I haven't come across the old Buicks in quite a while. This one here actually looks pretty good from the pictures. I like a lot of the things they've done here. Now that wheel combo with the white walls, I think they need to kind of get rid of that. I would have went with black walls personally if you insist on using that style of rim. Now if you'd have went with some steelies and painted it to color the car with some poverty caps, then the white walls would have probably looked a little better to me. But what do you guys think of this little Buick, and what do you think of that price tag? Make sure you leave it down in the comments. I need you guys to do me a favor. If you guys are enjoying these Wagon Wednesday finds, make sure you let me know. Up next, got a 1958 Chevrolet for $25,000. Now this one here is a very sharp 58 Chevrolet. I'm digging the color scheme they got going on in this car. I just think it works on these particular cars. And this one here, $25,000. This one here does have a modern drivetrain in it. It's got the LS in it. I know I don't really necessarily always agree with putting the LS in it, but in this case, they kind of open this car up to becoming a daily driver. If you're looking for a daily driver classic, and you need to have some room for the kiddos, grandkids, whatever, $25,000 might not be too bad of a price point to start at. I definitely would try to get a little bit cheaper, but I think this would make somebody a pretty cool little daily. Next, got a 1955 Hudson Rambler for $20,000. Now I know this car here, by me saying Hudson Rambler, definitely got some questions rolling around in some people's head, because this car kind of looks a lot like a Nash. Well, if you know the history of what happened between Hudson, Nash, and the backstory of AMC, then you'll kind of understand how this car here become to be. And if you're really into automotive history, this is definitely one you should go look into. Then you'll definitely understand exactly why this car looks familiar, but on a few different platforms. Now back to this one here. This is a very nice, clean representation of a Hudson Rambler wagon. Now honestly, I don't know what these cars here are worth. I just know I haven't come across these very often at all. And this one here appears to be really great condition. So I think if you're really into the oddball kind of wagons, this right here might be on somebody's radar. And like I said, judging from the pictures, this one here looks like a great put together piece of automotive history. And this might be very nice to have in somebody's private collection somewhere. Next, got a 1983 Toyota for $17,999. Well, we've had a few guys reaching out and asking for some JDM wagons. Well, you know what, Motorhead Misfits have listened, and we brought you a few today. Now, this little 83 Toyota is pretty dang cool. From the pictures, this car doesn't appear to be in too bad a condition. And I think this thing would be an absolute blast to go play around in. And I think if you're really into the different kind of vehicles, this one here is no exception. But what I really like is what he's got hiding under the hood of this little thing right here. And I know some of you JDM guys could definitely appreciate this one. Next, got a 1964 Chrysler for $11,000. Now here's one for all you Mopar fans. This is one you don't come across very often for a reasonable price or even in reasonable condition. But we may have actually stumbled across one that might just work for somebody. From the pictures, the car doesn't appear to be in too terrible of condition. I really wish the seller would have posted more pictures of this car, that way we could actually see what we were looking at. But I still think this makes some Mopar fanatic very happy, especially if they can get it for a lower price. Next, got a 1959 Rambler for $24,500. Well, we definitely got us a cool Rambler station wagon here. And for those of you who are paying attention back there on that old Hudson Rambler, you kind of see some body lines that kind of match up that old Hudson back there. Just think, a few years later, this is what that car evolved into. Now, I know these weren't everybody's cup of tea, but me personally, I like the lines on these Rambler wagons. I thought they were very cool. Now, this one here has had a lot of work done to it. It's sitting on an S10 frame. It's got 327 under the hood. The interior looks pretty good in this car. Overall, I don't think they did a bad job here. But this one definitely is one of the patina wagons. I know that's not for everybody. But what do you guys think of this old Rambler? Leave it in the comments. Next, got a 1962 Oldsmobile for $16,800. Not gonna lie, I've always thought these were a pretty cool looking wagon. They're not necessarily the best looking thing out there, but you know, it was so ugly, kind of cute thing, I guess. But I've been a fan of these for a long time, and I just love the tail section on these old Oldsmobiles. I thought they were very damn cool. I believe this Oldsmobile will make somebody a wonderful wagon project, but the price tag he has on there, I just don't see them numbers on there. I honestly do not. There's some rust issues on this car that you're going to have to deal with. This car is going to need a full interior. Not to mention any other things this car is going to need. I think it needs to come down quite a bit in price to make somebody a worthwhile project. But if you can get it right, this might work out for somebody. Next, got a 1994 Honda for $13,000. Now we have ourselves a pretty interesting little Honda here. Now I know this is not for everybody, but the JDM guys love these kind of old wagons. And these old wagons are actually very hard to find. Most people just use these up as your daily driver family cars and just kind of toss them into the junkyard when they were done. And that totally affected the price point on these wagons. Because like I said, you cannot find a very clean specimen of these wagons very often anymore. Now this one here, it appears to be clean. I don't necessarily agree with everything this owner has done on this build, but hey, he built it to his liking. Now me personally, the cool thing about this one, it is a right-hand drive Honda. Those are kind of hard to find here in the US that are not completely garbage or somebody's wanting a crazy astronomical price for. But what do you guys think of this little Honda, and what do you think of that price? Next, got a 1962 Studebaker for $9,000. You know, the Studebaker wagon here, the 62 model, they're definitely not going to win a beauty contest anywhere. But if you like Studebakers, you have to appreciate the Studebaker wagon. It definitely has some better lines in the back. The front end, I kind of wish they would have done a little something different with that front end. The front fascia was just a little freaky looking, you know, kind of scary you in the dark kind of thing. But I definitely think if you're into the wagons, especially the 60s wagons, you're looking for something that is a little different, then the Studebaker might work for you. Now, what he's asking at $9,000, I really don't see that price point. I just absolutely don't. It needs some interior work. It's definitely going to need some body and paint because it's got patina, and everybody's kind of moving away from that. Did you guys know that Studebaker was actually supposed to be absorbed by AMC? Been kind of interesting to see what would have happened to Studebaker if it actually would have made it under the AMC badge. Next, got 1977 AMC for $8,900. We got us a very clean Pacer wagon here. Yes, I absolutely said Pacer wagon. A lot of people didn't realize Pacer actually made a wagon. Really, it was just a little bit of extended version of the regular Pacer. Even though a lot of people still ain't going to consider it a wagon, but, you know, technically that's what they called it. Anyway, this one here is definitely a very clean car. It looks to be in very good condition. And if you like Pacers, this might be something you can't live without. I definitely don't know if it's worth $8,900. I never really tried to price any of these old Pacers because I never really cared for them. But this one here, from the pictures, it definitely is in great condition. And I think if you're, a collector, you might absolutely love to have this thing. It might be, something that you might not get into too deep, and at some point it may or may not become worth some money. I'm kind of going toward it probably won't never be worth all kinds of money, but Next, got 1964 Mercury for $12,500. We got a pretty cool little Comet wagon here. I actually think this would make somebody a pretty nice little project car. The body doesn't appear to be in too terrible shape from what we can see here in the pictures. Overall, I think with some negotiation, try to get a little bit cheaper, you might pick yourself up one heck of a little Comet project car, if that's what you're really into. Now you're going to have to keep in mind, this was a barn find, so that means this thing's probably been off the road for years, so you're definitely going to want to go look this car over, because you're going to invest a lot more money to bring this car around. Everything's going to have to be gone through before you can put it on the street. I mean, you really ought to go through it before you put it on the street. You don't want to unalive yourself. I mean, you just got the car. It could be the car of your dreams. I don't know. Next, got 1963 AMC for $10,000. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm absolutely digging the hell out of this wagon. I love the tail section of this wagon, like the front end. It's just all around a good looking wagon. I think, this would be something that would make somebody a decent project. I definitely would try to negotiate under that $10,000 mark. I think he's reaching there a little bit. But overall, this is still a very cool wagon. It's just got great lines. And personally, I would take that on as a project, but I damn sure wouldn't pay that kind of price. But what do you guys think of this little AMC? And what do you think of that price? Leave it down in the comments. Well, that's all I got for you today. If you liked today's video, make sure you smash that like button. Give me some love. Give me some comments and feedback. And if you haven't subscribed, do it already. And I'll see you guys in the next one.